The KU View podcast starts in 3, 2, 1.
Breaking news for all Jayhawks out there. Matthew Wyman is going to minicamp with the Kansas City Chiefs. What do we think of that, fellas?
Minicamp.
How big a
Wyman,
deal is that?
NFL.
Oh, man.
Oh, jeez.
He's going to kick
laugh.
the game winner in the Super Bowl.
Matthew Wyman
Just like
is
he did
not,
against Texas.
But that implies that Chiefs would make a Super Bowl, too. So.
Good point.
Matthew Wyman is not a kicker.
No.
Does not belong in the NFL.
It's a joke.
Are you serious, Kansas City? What are you doing?
He's not getting signed any contracts or nothing. He's just in minicamp.
It's minicamp.
Publicity stunt. Welcome back in. Episode 3 of the KU View podcast. Got a lot of controversial stuff to talk about.
I'm Cameron.
I'm Aiden.
And I'm Andrew.
Let's get into this right now.
A little bit of KU news so far as KU continues to get a bunch of nice transfers. But the first one that we want to talk about is the guy transferring out, of course, Carlton Bragg, going to Arizona State. Aiden?
Don't want to toot my own horn on this one, but episode 1 of the KU View podcast, if you tuned in, I jokingly said Carlton Bragg to Arizona State.
But it's happening.
And he's proven me right.
It is happening.
He's proving me
What
right.
do we think of this?
Transferring
Arizona
to
State. Arizona State, widely known as the number 1 party school.
And the
in
number
country.
1 STD school.
His parents
Good for
must
Carlton.
be proud. As long as he's getting starting minutes, I think he'll be fine.
Carlton, before you go to Arizona State, I think you need to take a little time in rehab.
The Johnny Manziel approach.
It is a party school. He has had off-the-court issues, usually with parties. Not a great move in my opinion.
Not a good choice. Former
Not a-
5-star recruit.
Good luck to him. I mean,
Good luck.
Once a Jayhawk, always a Jayhawk, even if you did some stupid stuff. You didn't really
they
play. You were kind of soft. Good luck, but bad choice in my opinion. Should not be headed there.
Where should he have gone then?
I think Illinois would have been a good fit.
Illinois. I thought I heard talks for a while about Ohio State, but that kind of fizzled out real fast.
That was on there for like 3 days until he came out with a list of his top 5, and Ohio State wasn't even on it. So
Yeah.
Bragg to Arizona State. We got another guy, Montel Cozart. That's a name that I'm sure a lot of people gives them a bad taste in their mouth. He has finally said he's going to be going to Boise State.
Boise State,
Very
former quarterback, of course. This is football. We totally understand if you don't know who Montel Cozart is. Didn't play a whole lot last year.
I don't know how you don't know who Montel Cozart is. He's been coming in as a starter for like 5 years now.
Yeah, but if you don't pay
Somehow.
attention,
Yeah, if
some
they don't pay
people
attention
aren't
to
that
KU
big into
football.
KU football right now. That's all right.
Transfer
I think
to
they should
Boise.
show up. They're going to be a lot
Final
better.
year of
than-
eligibility.
The good news is you won't have to worry about Montel Cozart anymore.
That is for sure.
Because he's headed to be a Bronco. Staying with the blue, mainly the field being blue, but again, good
It's all
luck
good.
to Cozart. What do you guys think about Boise? Is that do you think that's a good fit for him?
I don't know much about Boise State. but
Any place where he can get starting time
Exactly.
is a good place for
Any
Montel
place-
Cozart. He's got 1 year of eligibility left. He wants to go to a place where he can start immediately.
any place he can actually get some time on the field in a regular season game, because he sure wouldn't be getting that here. I don't think.
Here's
Behind
the-
Peyton Bender and
Carter Stanley.
Carter Stanley.
Yeah, I forgot the name for a second.
Yep.
It's one of those days. Here's the thing about Boise. It looks like a great move for Montel because we all know Boise State in the last 10 years has had a lot of success. They've been very good for a while, but in the last year or two, they've kind of dropped off.
What does that say if they're getting Montel Cozart though about their program? What does that say?
It means they're desperate for a quarterback next year.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
I just don't know. Is that
good
like
luck to him, but I don't.
Like,
I don't know. Is he
know
going to
anything about
shine?
Boise.
Is he going to shine in Boise though?
I don't know what offense they run over there.
I don't.
but
Well, I don't. It's not about the offense. It's about who they're playing. I mean, I feel like Boise State for the Mountain West, they're a bigger name school. Everybody knows who Boise State is now.
With all these conference
they be in it?
realignments, I don't even know if I can name like all the teams in the Mountain West anymore.
Oh yeah.
Okay, here we go. Should Boise State be looking at moving to a better conference then?
Like
yes,
the Big 12.
come to the Big 12, Boise. Invitations open as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, I'm with the Big 12 that I like the round robin in basketball and football. I love that. I love being able to like guaranteed game in basketball at Iowa State every year, no matter what. And I like being able to play all the teams in the conference during football season. But I wouldn't be opposed to adding some new big schools in like that.
The Big 12
Actually,
needs to
at
be
least
12.
getting 12 teams, yeah.
The Big 12 needs to be back to 12. The round robin it's a good format for football. I think I like it a little better in football than I do in basketball. Basketball, I could do without a home and home, especially when you play absolutely nobody non-conference. You'll have maybe one or two ranked games, and then you just play the same teams over and over and over for 3 months. It gets a little stale after a while. By the end of conference season, I'm like, come on, it's
but they're all tough places to play, and I don't want to give that up. I want to see KU
debatable.
I want to see KU
tough
get a win
places
in
to
Morgantown, man.
Well, that would still happen because
it depends on how you realign the conferences.
If two teams were to come in, you'd split it up in divisions. So you'd still play everybody in the North twice. Right. West Virginia would be in the North. Yeah. So we'd still get to play in Morgantown, and they'd come to Allen Fieldhouse every year.
Yeah, but I want to play Baylor too.
In Baylor's not going to be great forever though.
No, I know.
Yeah, they're one of those streaky teams where they're good for a few years.
It's fun to play them right now. But in 5 years, we might not want to be playing in Baylor all the time because it's going to be too damn easy.
Well, Baylor wasn't supposed to be good this year either. They started the year unranked, and they just climbed up.
They're a great team this year.
Yeah, well, that's Baylor for you. That's Scott Drew. Wonderful, wonderful Scott Drew. Who would you guys like to see come to the Big 12?
I want Houston. That's my big one.
SMU.
Have all the Texas teams.
Andrew says Houston. You say SMU.
SMU and
Do
Boise.
you agree with those together? You want SMU and Boise.
Yeah, that's kind of a weird combination, isn't it?
That is a weird combination. Yeah. But
throw Cincinnati in there, too. I'd love to see Cincinnati come in.
Well,
them in West Virginia.
We're being realistic
a nice
here.
rivalry.
We have to be realistic with this.
Right.
Being realistic. My dream would be Missouri, but that's not happening.
No. Anybody that would come to the Big 12, it would be either from the American Athletic, because they're kind of like, they're on the lower end of the bigger conferences.
Yeah.
They're like a
semi-pro.
Or
like a Mountain West type school. So Boise State moving to the Big 12, moving up, that would be realistic. Houston and SMU moving up would be realistic. Cincinnati,
they're in the American Athletic Conference too.
I know they are, but that's still. I could see them doing it simply for West Virginia. But if you add them, you'd have to go two teams from the north, because you have to think about how you would split up the divisions as well. And right now, if you were to go north and south from what the old Big 12 was, we lost the north teams with Colorado and Missouri.
Right.
The south still has their 6. The north has 4. So you'd either have to bring in 2 north teams, or you'd have to bring in 2 south and then move 2 up. Most likely Oklahoma and Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
And then at that point, with Oklahoma and Texas, you could have protected rivalry, so you'd make sure the 2 teams play each other all the time. Yeah. Like every year. That would be fine. They'd make that work. So you have to keep that in consideration also. It's hard to say like a Boise and an SMU because then you're messing up the conferences pretty bad.
So hypothetically, we get Houston and SMU, 2 Texas teams. Mm-hmm. The Oklahoma State move up. So we basically have a North and then a Texas conference.
Exactly. They wouldn't call it that, but that's essentially
what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. But I would love to see that, honestly.
My 2 picks for who I'd like to see come in. I've got 2 different scenarios. I want to see USF and UCF. I think that would be...
I just don't think that's realistic.
The Big 12 has no... Historically, they do have regional ties.
It's the Midwest.
They're known as a Midwest, but they're other Midwest conference.
It's just an unwritten...
They're just as much Midwest as the Big 10 is then. I mean, they've got West Virginia all the way over. It's majority Texas. You got KU and K-State and Iowa State. Other than that, you're not really in the Midwest. You're more in the South. They count...
see, that's the Midwest, though.
They're...
The South is like
Georgia. But the Big Ten has Midwest also. They go from, like...
I mean, they got, like, Michigan
Pennsylvania,
State.
but they got Wisconsin in them.
See, I don't consider that Midwest.
What do you consider it? East?
Midwest is, well, I don't know. Midwest to me is
north.
Like Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Iowa, Colorado.
But where
Illinois would be like
Arkansas.
Midwest.
Illinois is in there. I mean, Big Ten, they're like East, Midwest. We could do that. Yeah. It would be okay if we expanded. We still have the Midwest teams, but it's okay to expand. It would be great for television markets, especially in Orlando with UCF.
Yeah.
It would open recruiting grounds in Florida, which would be huge for the Big 12. It would be escape games late in the conference to nice weather, and get that nice tropical climate in
Party
December.
nights in Orlando.
I don't know about party nights in Orlando, and it's not like nowadays the travel would be terrible. You can get a plane flight there in 5 hours.
Yeah, I guess.
So it's not like you're on a bus for 2 days out of the week to drive there.
Yeah.
They could fly the teams.
So,
I feel like you brought up this point.
yeah, how many like Florida fans would be like in Kansas City for a Big 12 tournament?
Well,
Because
you might not have many.
this year, the
But right
Big
now,
12
it's not
championship game.
But it's not like
Nobody from West Virginia was there.
USF and UCF aren't great basketball schools right now anyways.
I know,
they're
but-
better at football than they are basketball,
We
which is
basically
what
just
matters.
be adding them just for football revenue. Like,
For now.
Yeah.
Basketball would get there.
But still, I
They-
don't
it's kinda
see.
like a
You see what
TCU,
TCU's done.
like-
TCU came into the conference terrible at basketball, and they're getting there.
yeah, but
They
when
beat
you
us this
you
year.
go to a
They
NIT
beat
KU,
champions.
when you go to a KU football game though, and you find all kinds of Oklahoma State and Texas and all those guys. Those guys and TCU, they travel.
You'd be surprised.
They'd go the.
You'd be surprised how
come to Lawrence.
you'd be able to find fans here. They'd show up, especially ones in Florida. Like, having spent a lot of time in my life in Florida, there are people there. They have a lot of money. They would travel.
They traveled to Lawrence, Kansas on a Saturday.
I don't know if
afternoon.
they would travel to Lawrence, Kansas on a Saturday to watch a mediocre football game. But they would go to the big tournaments if one of their team made
Maybe in a
the
few years.
championship or something like that. If this is all hypothetical too, but they'd be willing. There are people who'd be willing to travel to go watch these games. It's not totally out of the question for them. I mean, a lot of them are retirees that they live in Florida because they can afford it, and it is not cheap to live in Florida. Trust me. My other scenario I would like to see Houston and Memphis.
Memphis, the dark horse in the race here.
I think Memphis would be a very good fit in the Big 12.
How so?
They're good at football. They're good enough.
They're okay. At
They're a
football.
middle of the pack right now. Currently they would be middle of the pack in the Big 12. But they have years where these past 2 years they have blown KU out in football, just like everyone else in the Big 12.
Wow.
They had Paxton Lynch at quarterback. He was a big draft pick. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot
it's not
about
like
him.
it's not like Memphis is a nobody in football. They're
No.
just not in a great conference. If they move there, they could be a powerhouse. And then they've had basketball success, like with the 08 championship.
Right.
I mean, they're just
They-
not in a
they-
great
they've-
conference.
They've been moving up conferences steadily since then.
They are. Memphis is so close. They are on the cusp of being a good, like really good, consistent Division I team in two sports.
Yeah,
They
I can
just
see
need that conference. And the Big 12 would be a good move there. And then Houston as well, like both you guys said. I think that would be a really good move for them.
Yeah.
BYU, please stay away from the Big 12. I hate BYU.
I think BYU already gave their speech to the Big 12, and the Big 12 already told them no. So I think
That wasn't a BYU thing, though. It wasn't because of the school. It was just because they didn't want to leave the round robin right now. I almost said red robin. Yum.
that's a place with some good burgers.
Good burgers at Red Robin.
Ever had the Whiskey River barbecue burger?
It's
pretty
not.
good, man.
You guys missed it earlier. Before we started this, we were having a nice conversation about burgers. It lasted for 5 minutes or so.
Forgot to mention
Good
Red
conversation.
Robin.
It was a good conversation about burgers. Now we're on sports, though. So let's get back to the other stuff. Back to the transfers. I'm sure, as everybody has heard, Jack Whitman from William & Mary is coming here. He's a big man.
I like it.
Averages 10.1 points a game last year. He's got experience
We need
against
another big guy.
teams. We need another big guy, add a little bit more depth just in case.
And as of now, that is our last scholarship
is
that we
the-
can give out.
That takes the last scholarship, seemingly meaning that Svi can't come back.
I don't think he's
However-
coming back anyway. So
I know a lot of people don't think he's coming back, but you have to keep in mind the only reason he declared and did not sign an agent was because he wanted to go to the combine and he wanted to get told from NBA scouts what they thought of his draft stock. And the combine has not happened yet.
Yeah.
He's gotten no feedback, which is the whole reason he declared.
and
It's not like it was a surprise that he was going to go to the combine or anything. That was the entire plan.
And that's the thing when we're talking about the scholarships, though, is that they're all it's all speculation at this point. And
Mm-hmm.
we got 3 or 4 weeks till till the combine happens.
No, the combine's in a couple days.
Or the draft,
Yeah.
I mean. But and we'll have a lot more clearer picture after all that happens. But
He has till the 24th of May to make up his mind. I mean, there's
Well,
still
I
a
think
lot.
KU
he's
just
got
made
there's
up
still
he's got
almost
his
3
mind
weeks.
for
3
him.
weeks, yeah.
KU has not made up his mind for him. Bill Self is not going to give away a chance at Svi Mikhailuk to come back for a guy who probably is not going to play that much at the end of the bench.
I feel like Bill Self has to
Why
have
would he do
talked
that?
to
This
Svi
guy's a
already
senior.
about
This
this.
guy is a senior also. He's going to sit at the end of the bench. He's not going to. Bill Self is not going to give up Svi, who can be an absolute playmaker, for a guy who's going to sit down at the bench and add a little bit of depth in case we need it, like
Yeah.
if Azubuike breaks his wrist or something like that.
Yeah.
He's not going to just give that away for this guy.
All right, so what's
I think we need to keep in mind that Bill Self has a plan. He knows what he's doing. He's a great coach, and he would not do all of this. He is probably moves, like 10 moves ahead of all of us. He's got a plan.
For
He knows
sure.
what's going to happen if Steve comes back. There are a couple scenarios
Maybe
that
the
could
Lawsons.
play out.
It'd have to be, wouldn't it? The Lawsons.
What do you mean?
One of them, somebody would have to pay for one of their scholarships.
Yeah. Okay. So
Or
somebody.
their school.
What
I
could
don't
happen
see
is
that
somebody
happening.
somebody could give up a scholarship and pay for a year. Probably one of the Lawsons. It's not like they are in a Thomas Robinson situation where they have absolutely no money.
Yeah.
Their dad's a coach. I'm not going to say absolute richest man in Kansas now, but it'd be a possibility that somebody pays for a year. Also now with the news that KU has officially offered their younger brother Chandler a scholarship, it could be a situation where they're saying, hey, you pay for 1 year for one of your kids. We'll keep the other one on scholarships. You only have to worry about one, and then we'll bring your other kid here. You scratch our back, we'll scratch yours type of situation.
Has a situation like that ever happened before?
I have no clue.
Yeah.
Absolutely no clue if that's ever happened. You've also got the chance where somebody could give up their athletic scholarship and try and get some academic scholarship money from the school based on what their GPA is or something like that. If they were awarded any money from the school to help pay with it, that way they wouldn't be paying full tuition. They'd still probably be paying a little bit. They're not going to get a full ride from the school on academics, but they could get a little bit of money from it, which would help. There's also a chance that somebody transfers out away from the team, if need be. Bill Self could say, hey, we're bringing this other guy back. You're probably not going to get much playing time. If you
Who?
want playing time,
And just be honest with them.
Yeah. Who
you're
would it
not
be?
going to... I don't want to say it because he's already transferred once, but who I would see most likely would be Colby.
Yeah. I don't want to see any more big men.
I don't
It might
think
make
Colby
sense,
will
but I
be an
don't-
integral part of the offense by the end of the year.
I don't think he wants to transfer a second time.
That's
in
what I'm
his
saying.
career,
I don't
though.
think he does. I don't know who else would do it, though.
Yeah.
We've got 3 transfers in waiting now, ready to take over. Maybe Lightfoot, but he's still young. There's still a lot of room for him to grow and be good in 2 or 3 years like
Yeah.
Jeff Withy did.
Lightfoot looks like one of those guys who will stay for his entire career.
He'll be
here and
entire. He'll be
start
an
once
entire.
his senior
I'll say
year
he'll be an
happens.
entire 4-year
Yeah.
guy, and probably by senior year he'll be a very good starter, and we will remember
Landon-
Miss Lightfoot for a while.
Landon Lucas type of guy.
Exactly. So I don't think it would be Lightfoot. I think it's not going to be an end of the bench guy.
No. And then everybody else at the top is too good.
Who else?
The only other guy I could even think of, and it's not going to happen in any way because he'll be starting, would be Azubuike.
Oh no, Azubuike's
Yeah,
going to play. He's going to start
But
this year
but
and
who
then go
else?
to the draft. I don't
Billy
know.
Preston, LeGerald Vick, Devontae Graham, Malik Newman.
I don't
They're
know.
not going anywhere.
I don't know. Just keep in mind, Bill Self. We put our faith in him for everything else.
Oh yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
keep our faith in
it'll be
him
fine.
with
This is part of his job. He probably has some plan already in motion.
It's everything will be okay. I'm not. I know I said last time that we all think that Spee will probably go, but I don't think he's made up his mind at all. Because the combine has not happened. He has gotten 0 feedback from NBA scouts, which was the whole reason he went.
Right.
So just keep that in mind before you say anything for sure. In other news, the NBA playoffs are going on. Paul Pierce's career has officially ended with the Clippers being eliminated. What a legend.
Absolutely.
Paul
Best
Pierce.
Jayhawk ever behind Chamberlain.
probably the best Jayhawk.
I'd have to
If
say
you're
so.
going
First ballot
college,
Hall of Famer.
if you're going
Oh, yeah.
college and NBA careers, I'd say behind Wilt Chamberlain, Paul Pierce is the most successful.
Yeah, just all out
That's,
basketball.
which is
career,
pretty
not
impressive.
time to KU.
It's kind of hard to pass over Wilt, the man who scored 100 points in a game.
Oh yeah.
Wilt Chamberlain played in a different era of basketball. He probably wouldn't be as great as he was if he played right now.
Doesn't matter.
But
You could
that's
say
not
that
gonna.
about any
But
sport,
you can't discredit
Yeah.
him for what he did. Wilt Chamberlain had probably the biggest effect on basketball over any player that's ever played.
Yeah.
I don't know how many rules were changed because of him. The lane was expanded from when it was like a skinny little bowling alley type lane to the full size lane it is now because of Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah.
So, but definitely, I'd give Paul Pierce probably second overall. I can't think of anybody else.
No, for sure.
He's just had a fantastic career. 19
Congratulations to
years in
him.
the league.
Kirk Heinrich was pretty good. Kirk Heinrich had a solid NBA
He
career
did.
for
He did.
10 years or so.
If we're talking about that, I'm pretty sure Nick Collison technically still plays for the Thunder.
He
He's
does,
been sitting
but
on the bench.
Nick Collison hasn't done anything.
No.
As far as playing time and production, Kirk Heinrich he did well with the Bulls and the Hawks for a while.
Yeah, he kind of went back and forth between those two teams for a
He
while.
was at the Bulls first, then went to the Hawks for 2 or 3 years, and then back to the Bulls. I think he's still.
Yeah, I think he went
he's a
back
free
to the
agent.
Hawks after that too.
Did he?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'd say Paul Pierce probably second greatest Jayhawk of all
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Full length.
I don't think there's really any
Paul
doubt.
Pierce, great career. Finished 4th all time in 3-point field goals made in the league behind Jason Terry, Reggie Miller, and Ray Allen.
Jason Terry.
Fantastic.
Jason Terry,
Mr. Knee Socks.
Mr. Knee-Stocks. He's still in the league as well. He's one of the old dinosaurs in there.
Paul Pierce, what a legend. He is the truth. Can't wait to see him in the NBA. The Celtics have already announced they're going to retire his jersey. So,
Which is a fast decision.
Now he's
fast.
gonna have
fast
some
decision.
time to come back and catch some games in Allen. I'm excited to see
Oh,
him.
yeah.
Yeah,
He'll be
he's
back.
got his room in the Oriad.
Oh yeah.
He'll be back. There's still 2 more Jayhawks in the NBA playoffs right now.
Morris and Oubre.
Marquise Morris.
Kelly Oubre looks like he's ready to start an
Ooh,
MMA fight more than a
Oubre.
basketball game.
If
I
you-
like it. I like it.
I don't know how anybody that would be listening to this has not seen the video yet. But last night, Kelly Oubre absolutely laid out Kelly Olynyk. And it was maybe the greatest thing I've
He
seen.
pushed him over.
It was
in
the
an NBA
greatest
game.
thing I've seen in
Got
the playoffs
ejected.
so far. It
Got
was,
ejected from the game. We don't know if he's going to be suspended or if he's going to get a fine or what. Something's coming up.
If you didn't see the play, what happened was Kelly Olynyk for the Celtics, which, keep in mind, this has become a rivalry. The teams do not like each other. And the Celtics are very good at being overly physical. They love to push the boundaries of being too physical in basketball. They are tough. They will hit you. They will bump you. After taking shot after shot after shot, it's easy to understand why Oubre got heated. So Kelly Olynyk sets this pick, and with his arm, kind of gives a jab at Oubre's neck/head, knocks him down hard, immediately walks over to the ref when he gets called for a foul, and Oubre just went into a blind rage, charged at Olynyk, and just knocked him out.
flatten him.
Knocked him straight on his back.
yeah, benches got involved. Oubre had to be held back. If you could see the video, he was still just in a rage when his teammates were holding him back. You could just see it in his eyes. He wanted to go back out there
He was
for another
pissed.
swing.
Oh yeah.
That was fun to watch.
Can't-
That
can't
was,
say I blame
Immediately
him,
got
honestly.
ejected.
I can't blame him. It was an overreaction,
For sure.
but I'm not gonna blame him for getting mad. And I love seeing something like that.
Like it would be one thing if like
It
the
is
refs didn't
fun.
call the foul, but the refs called the moving screen immediately.
Oh no, they better have called it because it was dirty.
Yeah.
It was. I love it, Kelly Oubre. You're going to the Hall of Fame for that. That was incredible.
Maybe not the actual Hall of Fame, but our Hall of Fame.
No, the actual Hall of Fame. You better be there.
Ooh, hot takes.
That's not a hot take.
It's kind of a hot take.
That is happening.
Sure.
Okay. Other professional sports stuff.
Fish Smithson.
Anthony Fish Smithson has been
Washington
signed
Redskins.
by the Washington Redskins. He will be playing
Undrafted free agent.
undrafted, going to training camp, fighting for a spot on the roster.
Yeah.
I think he'll make it.
I think he's got
He's got a good
a
shot.
really good chance.
Got a good shot.
The Redskins tweeted a list of like a graphic of all the players they signed, like they were undrafted. Maybe it included their drafted guys. I don't know. But Fish was on the list, and then they quoted their own tweet and filled 140 characters with nothing but the fish emoji. They like him so far.
They like him a lot.
And he's got a great.
Check out our Twitter if you didn't see it earlier today. But we retweeted an article from Sports Illustrated where they were talking about every team's diamond in the rough from this draft class. Obviously, Fish wasn't drafted, but they're definitely saying that the Redskins. It's
gotta
Fish
steal with
missing.
that one.
I don't know how he didn't get drafted.
They told him. They called him before the draft was even over. I think it was at the end of the 5th round. They called him and said, "We're not going to draft you, but we're going to sign you right after the draft is done."
Yeah.
So he knew he was going to get drafted, or he knew he was going to get picked up.
Yeah.
It's okay he didn't get drafted. They obviously made it clear to him that they wanted him, and they're making it clear that everybody thinks that he's got a good chance here.
I think him not getting drafted will just make him compete even more. Like,
Yeah.
he'll be
A little bit of a chip on his shoulder.
I think that in a couple of years, as long as he stays with the Redskins, if he starts bouncing around the league, he's in trouble. It's really hard to make a name for yourself.
Well, yeah,
when
and
you're
the average-
trying
the
to
just
make
have to
a team.
find a landing spot.
Yeah, the average career in the NFL is 3 years.
But I mean,
Just little, and
you've
if
got
you're not with one
you've got a
team.
couple defensive guys from KU lately that weren't big names in the draft or anything. Ben
Yeah.
Heaney went late, and he, before getting hurt, found himself starting for Oakland for a bit.
Yep.
Ja'Cory Shepard did the same thing. Chris Harris didn't make a name for himself the first couple of years. He was in the
that's
league,
true.
and now
Yeah,
he's
one of the best corners there is.
now he's great. Talib was a big
Talib
pickup.
was-
He was
yeah.
big
he was
pickup. He was an
a
instant
bigger
guy.
name to come out of KU.
He was an instant guy. That was a bad example. Who else? There have been some. I can't think right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if we were hearing Fish Smithson's name quite a bit more.
Yeah,
coming
keep an
out.
eye
in
on
the
that.
upcoming years.
Okay, that about covers our KU news because
Not a
there's
whole lot.
not much going on right now.
It's all right. Might dive into some other sports things as the off season progresses, but once we get back into the swing of things, we're going to be talking a lot of football in the fall, and that'll be here before we know it. Very excited about that.
Football. So we've got a couple things. Do we want to talk about the Chiefs and their draft, or are we going to save that?
Let's talk about the Chiefs.
We'll just run it real fast.
Pat Mahomes, let's go.
If you don't know yet either,
Stud.
I applaud the draft choice. 100%. I applaud that.
the Chiefs traded up in order to take a quarterback for the first time since 1983.
1983, since Todd Blackledge in 1983.
Wouldn't have known
Traded
that
up to the
name.
10th overall pick.
What an
Well,
obscure
because
name.
that 1983 draft class was like, that was the Elway and the Marino class.
Okay.
And so like there was the 4 top quarterbacks, and Blackledge was one of them. And he's the one that, of course, goes on to do absolutely nothing with his career. And that's the one the Chiefs grabbed.
Typical Chiefs.
Classic
Am I right?
Blackledge.
When are they going to make it back to a Super Bowl?
The
Probably soon, because now they have a quarterback. Mahomes.
Pat Mahomes.
Shout out to our
Gunslinger.
friend Chris, host of the Heat Check podcast. Listen to them. He absolutely tore the Chiefs to shreds for taking Mahomes. Said that they wasted their pick on a project when everybody claims they're one piece away from being a Super Bowl team. Why would you waste your pick on a project? I don't agree with that.
Chris, I couldn't disagree with you more, man. I love this pick 100%.
In my opinion,
They came in, they brought him in, when they were checking out all the quarterbacks, and they said he's got the highest football IQ of all the quarterbacks. this
he's
year.
he
great
looked like
quarterback.
he looks
Yeah.
like the one that had the best pro style to me.
Yeah, and
Who else are you going to take?
This was the only thing. He clearly knows how to look through progressions and all that. But the only thing that doesn't quite match up perfectly with the Chiefs is that he wasn't in an offense that's similar to the one the Chiefs run with the West Coast that Andy Reid likes. But I think that's largely dependent on who the quarterback is, and that'll change if Pat Mahomes is a quarterback or if Alex Smith is the quarterback.
Why would Mahomes not be successful? He's got
Oh, I
receivers.
don't see any way he wouldn't be.
He's got blocking.
He's got a lot to do.
Who's
And
that
you
for
can
receivers?
manage.
It's got Jeremy Maclin, Kelsey,
Kelsey, this is your thing, Andrew. You're the
Tyreek
Chiefs
Hill,
fan.
man.
Tyreek
Hill.
Hill.
He's got
That's all you need though. That's 3
he's
solid
got a
receivers.
freaking cannon.
You got
All you have to do,
you have
just
3 right there, and then you've got 2 quick running backs who could
all-
bump out for screen passes.
Oh yeah.
Plus, he's agile. He can move.
If you
He's
didn't
a
see it, there
mobile
was
guy.
there was a video at his pro day Pat Mahomes. He's on about the 20, 25-yard line. He's just showing off. And he just chucks it as far as he possibly can. It's in the back of the end zone. He threw that ball 80
He's got a
yards.
cannon. Mahomes is a great pickup.
Unbelievable.
I think of all quarterbacks
You
in
do
this
that with
draft.
Tyreek Hill. That's I mean,
I
there's
think
no
of
way it's not
all
a
of
touchdown.
the quarterbacks in this draft,
Alex
Mahomes
Smith.
will be the best.
Like,
And Alex Smith is not the quarterback that's going to lead the Chiefs to a Super Bowl.
Alex Smith is a good quarterback.
He's a good quarterback, but he is not
He
a
does the
quarterback
basics.
that will win. He does
Yes.
the bare minimum to be successful.
A
He
lot of
will
the
not get past the Patriots.
A
He
lot of
will
the time.
not get past the Steelers. He is a good
Not-
quarterback. He produces results, but he does not, in my opinion, when it comes to the playoffs, he does not have the it factor to get them to the next level.
Well, remember, he's only played in 4 playoff games as a Chief. 2 of them he had really great games. The game last year against Pittsburgh, he didn't have a horrible game. He just didn't really have. The Chiefs weren't able to get that big touchdown scoring
You
drive.
have to do.
got to make plays.
You have
Oh,
to
yeah,
do
you do.
something
Absolutely.
special. And he does.
He made a few plays in that. There was a.
But were they him, or was it him
he
giving it to
made
someone else?
He made a few spot-on throws in the fourth quarter and stuff.
People love to. I mean,
Chris
he
Conley,
made
I
some
remember
good
Chris
throws.
Conley got knocked out, and it was a 30-yard game.
I guess we
People-
keep forgetting that they were like one holding call away from actually winning the game.
Actually
but
winning, yeah.
But Steelers didn't get a touchdown. They
didn't.
won the game
They
on
didn't get a
strictly
touchdown.
field goals, and you couldn't outscore field goals. Are you serious?
No,
On your home field, you have to be able to outscore field goals.
Yeah.
And Alex Smith.
that's why Pat Mahomes was the right choice.
People love to give the quarterback credit for everything on the field, when I don't think necessarily all credit is due to the quarterback. There will be other
It is a
star
quarterback
players.
league, though,
It's a.
because you got to do it to win.
It is.
There's
It
a
is.
few outliers where teams that didn't have a superstar quarterback were able to win a Super Bowl, but for the
But
most
it's
part,
all-
you have
but
to have
at
a
least
Brady or a
you've got-
Manning or a Favre,
You've got to have a leader, and that's the difference maker. But
or even a Russell Wilson. Somebody
you need
that's
to.
above average.
But you need to have somebody else. Russell Wilson had Marshawn Lynch. He had a guy he could hand it off
Pat
to. who
Mahomes
could-
would have Tyreek Hill. Or
He
Travis
would, no,
Kelce.
that's what I'm saying. Pat Mahomes, but Alex Smith does not. Alex Smith rides
Alex
a lot
Smith
off the
doesn't throw the
momentum
ball
of
down
other
the field.
people. He rode off a lot of
He's-
momentum from Jamal Charles.
Far too conservative.
Very conservative, and that will not win you Super Bowl. So I think picking up Mahomes is a great choice. He'll sit behind Smith for 1 or 2 more years.
Yeah.
Learn from him, develop in the league a little more,
Learn the offense.
fine tune his style.
Yeah.
And then be great.
That's your franchise quarterback.
So I don't see this pick as wasting it on a project. I think it was a great pickup because it's exactly what
Will
you
they
need
still
to
have
go to the
the
next
pieces
level.
I'm
2
so-
years from now to go to the Super Bowl?
I think
though?
they should.
Will they
I
still
think
have the
they will.
pieces?
Why would they not? They're still getting to the playoffs. Even if they're not winning in the playoffs, they're getting there. They're having success. There's nothing there that's going to drive people away like there is in baseball.
They've got their big guys locked up too. Just signed Eric Berry to a huge deal.
Yeah.
They've got Justin Houston and all those guys locked up for the long term. Travis Kelce, Jeremy Maclin. all those guys.
And there's salary caps, which I know you wanted to get into. We'll get into it in
Don't
a
even
bit.
start about
This
that.
isn't like it's not like baseball where these guys are going to leave for insane amounts of money because there's no money to keep them.
Just to finish up on Pat Mahomes real quick.
Okay.
I was thinking about this last night and how the Chiefs in my entire life have never drafted a quarterback in the first round. They've never been serious about a quarterback. We had Trent Green, like he kind of reminds me of Alex
okay
Smith.
guy.
Yeah, he was okay. Got into the playoffs, but
That hit! I'm just thinking about that hit in the Bengals game. Was that your birthday party we were at? I was at
Carson Palmer.
No, Trent
Trent
Green.
Green.
I was at
got
somebody's
knocked
birthday
out.
party
That
when
ended
that
his
happened.
career.
Yeah, I was
He
just
came
thinking
back-
about the Carson Palmer hit
He
then.
came back a year later.
He was never the same.
Went to Miami
Never the same.
and got
Yeah.
another one that knocked him out for another year.
Yeah, he was on that. Was that the 1-15 Miami Dolphins team that year?
Oh my God, he got 2 of the worst concussions I've ever seen to the same guy. I feel so bad for him.
So anyways, the Chiefs have never been serious about a quarterback in my life. After that, they had Damon Huard for a few years, and then they went through the whole Brady Quinn, Tyler Palco, Kyle Orton for 6 games.
Oh, that's his name. It was on the tip of my tongue.
Who?
Kyle Orton.
Kyle Orton
Ooh,
picked
I
him
have
up
not heard
mid-season. Whatever, they finished 7-9. I remember that year they upset the Packers. Packers were like 14-0, and that was a huge trap game. And then of course the whole Matt Castle experience. But then they went out and got Alex Smith, which I applauded at the time because that's the best quarterback they've had in a long time. But now that they went out to go get Pat Mahomes, I was thinking about it. How I was at the KU Texas Tech game 2 years ago, and just watching Pat Mahomes, who was an above average quarterback in the Big 12, but nothing like overly special at the time. He had a lot better year last year, and then he's clearly still got a lot more room to develop. But I was thinking about that, how like I was sitting there 2 years ago watching this guy that's going to end up being the franchise quarterback for potentially the next 10 or 15 years for the Chiefs that could get them over the hump and win a Super Bowl.
It's not guaranteed. Haven't even made it to training camp.
And quarterbacks are so risky.
We hope,
but
he'll be the guy.
I was just thinking about
You also
that.
got to think Mahomes. I mean,
awesome
think
that
about
would be.
that offense that he led for Texas Tech last year at the beginning of the season. Obviously, they dropped off a little bit at the end of the year when they started getting into the grind of Oklahoma and West Virginia and the better teams in the Big 12. Baylor was headed downhill hard by that point.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
I mean, for the first 5-6 weeks, up until KU played them, they were like the third most producing offense in the entire country.
A high-scoring offense.
They were averaging 50-plus points a
their bread and
game,
butter.
700 yards, and Mahomes led that. I mean, he tore KU to shreds for the first 5 minutes of that game this year.
As everyone does.
We shut him down a little bit after a while and ended up hurting him for the rest of the game. But for the first 5-6 minutes, it took him 3 plays to get an 80-yard touchdown. Like, the dude's good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Last piece about Mahomes. Like, I know the Chiefs aren't going to do it. Like, they're going to, have him sit behind Alex Smith, kind of an Aaron Rodgers formula going on there. But I think that if needed be, he could start just immediately. Just be like Dak Prescott last year.
Should something happen to Smith?
He could.
Should
My
an
only
injury
concern
happen to Smith, like
my only
like
concern.
Romo.
Yeah, my only concern is if he knows the system well enough or not.
They'll learn it. They've got the whole summer to learn the system. That's what
Yeah.
they do. You get drafted, and immediately he is in there learning that system.
Yeah.
And if he
I
can't
have
learn
a feeling
it 100%,
Andy Reid's going to try to get him to be a little more conservative too, because he threw a lot of his touchdown interception ratio was great. He didn't throw a lot of picks, but he still had a few problems that every college quarterback makes, where he tries to put a ball in.
And the competition in the NFL is even better. He's going to be playing cornerbacks and safeties that are the best of the best, and that's why they're there. Yeah. So I don't expect to see him. He'll play a lot.
He's going to get better playing Marcus Peters and Eric Berry in training camp for sure.
He will play a majority of preseason, I guarantee it. Alex Smith will probably play the first 5-10 minutes of the first quarter and then sit.
As veterans do, yeah.
But
and just hearing the way though that
get him some game
John
experience.
Dorsey and Andy Reid have been talking about this whole situation. They obviously love Pat Mahomes.
Oh, they've already said that Smith is going to be starting the season.
But yeah,
it sounds like Alex Smith likes Mahomes too. Like he went on record saying, like, Alex Smith was just like, I'm gonna do my best to help this guy succeed in the league and everything like that. Like he's totally fine with it.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's a great guy.
Alex Smith is you, and Mahomes is the man she told you not to worry about.
I hope so.
He's coming for Smith.
I hope so.
He doesn't have long
quarterbacks
left in the saddle.
Either Alex Smith is pretty confident, or he sees the end of his career coming, and he's just ready to help the next guy. One of the two.
Could be.
I don't think I think
he'll want to be remembered as a Chief too, and he'll want to be remembered as the guy that helped the Chiefs. Yeah. Oh yeah. He wants to be remembered as a Chief.
He wants to be
he said that?
the Joe Montana.
You can tell
Steve Young.
this whole when he got traded.
I like that joke. All right. Okay.
Well, but when he got traded, he was because obviously he was sitting behind Kaepernick that whole year, and he's doing that whole year is thinking about, okay, where am I going to get traded? Not that he really had a say in it, but he did say from the whole. I mean, he could have just been lying, but he said that he wanted to be on the Chiefs the whole time because it appeared that the Chiefs, while they weren't that good, they were trending upward with Andy Reid and everything coming in.
And he probably liked Andy Reid's system too.
Yeah,
the
definitely.
West Coast system
for sure, and so that was the right move. And so he's always wanted to be in Kansas City. As soon as he had any opportunity to be in a place other than San Francisco, he wanted to be in Kansas City. So I would think he'd be remembered as a Chief. And this could be a huge piece of his legacy. Finally getting the Chiefs back into the playoffs, getting them a win for the first time in 7 straight playoff appearances.
Hot take. Here's a scenario. Hot take. Ready?
Sure.
He gets cut by the Chiefs.
When?
2 years.
2 years.
Or when his contract's up. He just doesn't re-sign?
I think his contract's up after this year. I'm not
Guess where he goes?
sure on that. But
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
Dethrones Jameis Winston from his job because Winston has no more excuses. After this year, Winston has no more excuses not to be in the playoffs. At that point, you got to move on.
You could say the same about Marcus
they
Mariota.
They lost a few close games.
Mariota has had injury problems that Winston has not had. Jameis Winston, will get dethroned. Alex Smith is going to lead the Buccaneers to the Super Bowl. First try.
Oh man,
Hot take.
that is a hot
But
take.
can't do it with the Chiefs team. That's
Can't do it with the
arguably a top
Chiefs.
5 team in the NFL.
Immediately goes and does it, and everybody is just mad. Like, where was this for the last 7
You know,
years?
They won't be mad because the hot take is that Pat Mahomes will be one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL.
Guess
by that
who?
point.
I believe that one
Guess who the Buccaneers beat to get there?
to get to the Super Bowl.
No.
Pat Mahomes and the Kansas City
They-
Chiefs.
A Chiefs Buccaneers Super Bowl.
No,
Yeah.
that would be in the Super Bowl.
It'd be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Even better.
You know
better.
something that people always forget. Like Alex Smith doesn't have the playing experience, but he's actually been to the Super Bowl with the 49ers that year.
That doesn't count.
He was.
That
He should have
doesn't
been the
play-
quarterback
he
on that
didn't
team.
play-
That was
No,
not
he
all
should.
Kaepernick.
He was the starting
Kaepernick
quarterback
earned
from
that.
the beginning of the season.
Kaepernick earned
Like,
that all.
I know, but this
plus
is-
the comeback.
This
he
is the
led
only
in that
time
game.
I've ever seen like a winning quarterback get replaced on a winning team halfway through the season. Like the 49ers.
Colin Kaepernick earned that.
I didn't say he didn't earn it. I'm just
Oh
saying
my
that
God.
people keep forgetting that Alex Smith, he didn't play, but he was in the stadium. Like
Oh, yeah.
I
no
just-
Super
I
Bowl
don't.
experience. He was in the atmosphere.
But I don't.
Like,
I don't count that though. The only advantage you get there is having experience with the media.
he got to experience the power outage.
That's
I don't know.
it.
He was locked in though. He had to be locked in. What if Kaepernick gets hurt? He's the guy.
Not locked in,
He's the guy
but-
that's got to go win a Super Bowl.
But until that happens, he's the guy standing there with a clipboard and a headset.
I know. I mean, I don't count it that much either. But he
I'm
was
not
there.
gonna. I don't give that. I don't give being there. If you don't touch the field, it's hard for me to say you have Super Bowl experience. That's my opinion.
I guess we'll
Feel
just,
free to disagree.
I guess we'll just wait 2
Pat
years
Mahomes.
until the
Good job,
Chiefs
Chiefs.
and the Buccaneers
The Chiefs and the Buccaneers are in
in the Super Bowls.
The Super Bowl.
You know when hell freezes over.
the same year that KU makes it to the college football playoffs.
Oh gosh.
I don't know where you get these ideas
You're setting
from.
yourself
really.
up
like,
for failure, man.
Like should we
Come
keep
back in
track
2
of
years.
these?
Come back when we're in season 3
we-
of the KU View podcast.
Cameron,
Should
the
we
hopeless
just write
optimist.
these down? Should just rub in your face 2 years from now?
We are going to write these down, and when it comes around, we will take a look back and see if I'm close on
All right,
anything.
I'll start writing them
Yeah.
down. Cameron's crazy ideas that don't come true. I'll make the list.
There you go.
They're gonna happen,
They'll be
and you
7
guys
and
are going
5
to be
that
bowing down to
They'll
me.
be 7 and 5. that
So,
year.
so
No one ever got famous on being conservative with their bold predictions. It's called a bold prediction
all
for
right,
a reason.
all right, Skip. Okay.
Hey, Skip has done well. Even if he's
He
not
has.
right, you're now calling me Skip because the man he's gotten success
Oh, God.
by saying dumb
Can we-
predictions.
He doesn't even deserve the time of day. Let's just.
Skip Bayless.
No.
He's
That's-
got
it's
some,
over.
he's got some
No,
funny
Don't
tweets. He's got
say
funny
his
tweets.
name again, please.
Skip Bayless is great
God.
for song references. I don't know how many great song references I have heard about Skip Bayless. It is perfect. Okay, we've got one last thing to talk about. The salary cap. And other... Well, okay, we've got 2 things. We'll run through another one. Let's get into this about the salary cap. We talked about it for a little bit earlier. This will go mainly MLB with the Royals because...
I think I'm in the minority here.
If everyone
of us
knows,
3.
the Royals are not having great
They
success.
suck.
There's a lot of rumors going around that by the trade deadline, they will have lost most of their stars.
It's not really just a rumor. That's just how baseball
It's
works.
just how baseball works, and when you're not,
Go into this and then I'll counter it.
the Royals have a top. They're currently in the top third of the league in payroll, but that's because they know their window is right here, and it closes.
Like, this is
after
the last
2017.
year that they like win or lose. Guys are going to be gone next
Right.
year. Their contracts are up. They're going to go somewhere else that's going to pay more money.
Right.
Right now, rumors were linking Lorenzo Cain to the Washington Nationals. Like the Royals could trade.
Yeah, because
Him
they just
to
lost
the-
Adam Eaton, but
Royals could trade him at the deadline
right.
if they're not in position.
It's gonna happen. If you're a Royals fan, that's gonna happen. They're gonna lose some
It's
guys.
just inevitable.
They traded Wade Davis. They traded Gerard Dyson because of the same situation going
Like
into the
those were
Milwaukee years.
the guys that they traded. They traded for Soler, who hasn't even got to play yet. He's been on the DL.
We'll see though. The thing you got to keep in mind is that I know we're only 2 months out of the deadline, but there is so much more baseball left to be played. There's 160.
And they have a lot of ground to make up. Then
They do.
have a lot.
They
Why?
do. I don't
but
think-
even if they
but-
do make that up, like you said, they are going to leave, win or lose. And why is that? Because someone is going
there's
to
no
offer
loyalty
them
in baseball.
more money.
See,
Because there's no salary cap, which creates no loyalty.
There's a different fact. I think if they don't trade Lorenzo Cain at the trade deadline, right now, he started off hot his first 3 weeks, and now he's back down to a 250 batting average. That's not going to bring in a whole lot. And he's never played more than like 120 games in a full season. So we'll see how much Lorenzo Cain can bring back for 3 months of Lorenzo Cain. But to me, if the Royals are to resign only one person, it has to be Lorenzo Cain anyway, because he's got the most star potential. But if you trade one of those guys at the deadline, Eric Hosmer's getting traded at the deadline, no doubt.
I can see that. Yep.
He's got the most.
He's asking for way too much money.
Yeah, and he's seen throughout the league as like the best Royal, right?
The one with the most potential, quote unquote.
Right. So when Eric Hosmer gets traded, that's when his connection to the Royals ends. I think we got the World Series and everything, but that's when it's over.
Terrible.
Off the bigger.
But Lorenzo
two.
Cain, say they don't trade Lorenzo Cain or Eric Hosmer, and they keep them through the end of the year. The Royals have the first rights to offer them a contract in the offseason.
I feel
they
like
will be a
I
lot
feel
more
like they can
inclined.
only sign one of them though, unless they're willing to take pay cuts. Though they're only going to be able to sign one of the two.
Oh yeah, I
Because
totally
of the salary cap. Because there is none. Because somebody else can offer ridiculous amounts of money, and they don't care about the team they play for. They care about the
It's
paycheck.
a fair point. The
Teams
Royals
on the-
have like the 9th highest payroll out of 30 teams. The Royals are a small market team, and their budget is like 130 million. The Dodgers have the top payroll, and it's still twice what the Royals pay. It's $260 million just for their players, and that's between the 9th team and the 1st team.
It's ridiculous.
That's unbelievable. But I don't know that I'm totally like. I see your point, but a salary cap when you look at the NFL and stuff. Dontari Poe should still be a Kansas City Chief, and he's not because of the salary cap. Jamal Charles should still be a Kansas City Chief, and he's
But it
not
limits
because
it
of the
enough.
salary cap.
It makes it so you can't.
It makes things
See,
more even.
Exactly, but that's what you need.
But I feel like baseball doesn't want to do that because then like
No, baseball doesn't want to do it because it's the
baseball
way
doesn't-
baseball's
they
done
don't
it.
want to
and
lose
it's
their
Yan-
identity.
the Yankees have over a
the
$200
Yankees
million
aren't the
payroll.
Yankees if there's a
Exactly.
salary cap.
But they have an over. But it doesn't. That's not necessarily the point, though. That you spend more money, and it's true. They went out and got Brian McCann and Masahiro Tanaka in this year, and spent like $180 million in one offseason. Committed $180 million, and they haven't made the playoffs in 4 or 5 years.
But you look at
They made
look
the
at other
playoffs
sports.
2 years ago. They got the wild card. It's the
Yeah.
They had
Against
it was
Houston.
one game.
You're right.
Yeah, it was
I-
one game. That was it.
I don't
Though.
know.
Look at the NBA with the salary cap, though. If you're going to have a team like Cleveland or Golden State, those guys, because of their loyalty to their teams, are willing to take pay cuts and take less money to play for a team. LeBron James,
Loyal to
everywhere he goes, he takes less money.
Is it loyalty to the team or loyalty to a potential ring?
It's
What's
really
the difference?
it's
though?
really hard in baseball though. Like
I mean,
baseball's
okay,
so
okay.
unpredictable.
Somebody's
Exactly.
they're not going to go. Whether you're playing for the Cleveland Cavaliers or you're playing for the Milwaukee Bucks, I mean, they're both good teams. I mean, people are going to try and look to get out of the Sixers or something like that. If they have a chance to move up, they're going to do that. But when you're in one of these top spots like that, I mean, I don't see Antetokounmpo leaving to go play somewhere else because
No.
he's not going to get too much more money, and he's already had this identity now with Milwaukee.
Part
He's
of it.
now their guy. He's got loyalty to them. He's not going to leave for $3 million more.
Well, unless someone
Because
like
the
the
NBA
Cavaliers is calling.
No, because the NBA cannot afford to do that. They can't double someone's salary like it's nothing and say, "Hey, come play for us."
Russell Westbrook's going to get over $40 million a year this offseason. That doesn't happen in the MLB. The highest contract we've seen on average annual value was Zach Greinke signed like a 7-year, $217 million deal. It might have been a different year number, I don't remember, but I remember $217 million. He's earning like $34 million on average per year, and that's the highest in baseball, and
there's
that's
more players.
mind-boggling.
There's more players.
But Russell
on
Westbrook,
MLB teams.
superstar.
You have 12 players on an NBA team.
Well, and that's partially
They
the
can make a
sport
little
too.
more money.
That's partially the sport.
Well, yeah.
Your franchise
but
rests on.
But you can't
Russell
look at just the
Westbrook.
dollar amount. You have to scale it to each other. There, I just think no salary cap in
Depends.
baseball
the MLB makes
allows
more money than the NBA.
for absolutely no loyalty because guys are not going to re-sign with a team. They've been to 2 World Series with this team, won one of them, and
I disagree.
they're held
But
at
once,
the highest
once the
standard
team
by
starts
this
losing,
team.
though, everyone wants to get out.
But you don't have that in basketball.
Salvador
and
Perez.
football.
Salvador
You'll have
Perez, here's
people.
my example.
No, you will have people stay at a team, even if they're not in the Super Bowl or the finals every year. Starters will stay with their team.
Is it?
They don't
I
run the
think it's
second
just
they
the
have a
times,
down
though,
season.
like-
No, it has always been like this.
But this is the thing with baseball.
It has always been.
I see your point. Where I don't agree that it's like there's no loyalty. There is loyalty.
Right.
Salvador Perez.
Salvi's a great example.
Salvador Perez is going to be here for his career.
Yeah, he's
So now it's
he's
Gordon.
already. Him and Gordon have already signed long-term deals. Perez just looks like he's having fun out there all the time.
So
He
did
loves-
Danny Duffy. Danny
loves-
Duffy
yeah,
says,
Danny
"Bury me a
Duffy.
Royal."
They love the organization. They love the fans.
Yeah.
And they're just
So I disagree that there's no loyalty.
Okay.
But here's
okay.
my point.
Let me rephrase that. I'm talking stars here though. Like
Yeah.
the top
Mm.
guys.
Salvador
Salvi
Perez.
is
Salvador
one of the
Perez
top
is the
guys.
top catcher
Yeah.
in the American League. So
like hitting or not, he is.
there's
one of
Buster
the
Posey,
best.
John LaCroix, and Salvador Perez. Those are the best catchers.
Yadier Molina's up there, but he's getting kind of older. But
yeah. But so anyways, back to your point about keeping guys, the superstars. Okay, so Max Scherzer was able to leave and go get a bunch more money for the Washington Nationals. John Lester was able to leave the Red Sox, where he'd been his whole career, got in the World Series, and go to the Cubs. You know, because they paid him more. It wasn't, and then obviously they went to the World Series. But so a lot of superstar or higher tier players are moving around a lot more often in the MLB. Is that a good thing for the MLB? I think it is. I think it makes it more even, because if you have the money, if you have the willingness to win, open up your checkbook and go get a guy, you can do it. But in the NBA, you're limited.
because like, what would the
I'm not
Royals have
talking.
been
I'm
that
not
year?
talking from the organization. I'm saying the players. These guys will go chase a dollar sign. From what you don't. At a certain point, you're getting offered $100 million.
No, the guys will
but
chase.
you'll leave for 120. You're already making $100 million. What is that extra $20 million gonna do?
It's $20 million.
It's a
But
dollar
in the
sign.
grand scheme of things, like
No,
I would
I
pick
understand.
I would pick loyalty for that team over an extra $20 million because I mean it's $20 million.
Well, I guess
But
there's,
you're already getting paid a stupid
there's some
amount of money.
factors we're not looking into. Like maybe they don't have a good relationship with the team they're in. Maybe like maybe they've made coaching.
there is a lot
changes,
more. There's a
something
lot
like
more
that.
player movement in the MLB.
Like
And the MLB is the outlier because of the four major sports: the NHL, the NBA, NFL, and the MLB. The MLB is the only one that doesn't have a salary cap. But you see so much more player movement, and you see it with trades too.
Yeah, like
Trades don't happen in the
what
NFL.
would the Royals have done that
I-
year that they won the World Series if they couldn't
Trades?
if they didn't get Cueto or Zobrist at the deadline that year? It's like
I don't
Yeah,
hate
that
trades,
won them the World
Yeah.
Series, arguably.
But I'm not saying from the organization it being a good move. It is a good move for the organization to go out and do this if they can to take these guys. It's a good move by them. But I hate seeing this much player movement.
Mm.
You lose identity, and it tarnishes legacy in a way. You
No,
look
it
at
doesn't.
who are the greatest NBA guys are the ones that played their entire career, almost their entire career somewhere. Jordan played almost his whole career with the Bulls. Pierce played almost his whole career with the Celtics.
Yeah.
Bryant with the Lakers. All these guys played almost their whole careers with one team. If they would have been bouncing around from team to team to team, imagine if Magic Johnson played for 9 different teams. We would see him in a different way than we do right now.
Okay, Albert Pujols left the St. Louis Cardinals. If he would have
Mhm.
retired at the end of his career as a St. Louis Cardinal, he would have still gone down as the second best first baseman in the history of the game.
How many teams did he play for?
2.
That's different. That's not 4.
Giancarlo Stanton signed over a $300 million deal for 13 years extension to
With the
stay
Marlins,
with the
yeah.
Miami Marlins. He's been with the Marlins his whole career to stay with them.
Mhm.
Mike Trout will be a free agent in a year or two.
The Yankees are just going to be all over.
I see.
him then.
I can see that, but the Angels have the resources to do it as well.
Yeah, they have the resources. It's just
To
does
keep it
Trout
like
want
that.
to stay with
But-
the Angels? But that's a different topic because the Angels are just have like one of the worst farm teams
Yeah.
in the league.
But again, it's the difference of sports. I think ultimately is what it comes down to, because the Oklahoma City Thunder is Russell Westbrook, plain and simple. That's the entire team. Mike Trout.
For now.
Mike Trout. I don't think they even finished 500. The Anaheim Angels. Mike Trout is far and away the best player on the planet. So it depends. You can find replacement level players to keep you steady, and you'll be fine.
Okay. No, I agree with that. But I think not having a salary cap, at least for star, and again I'm speaking star players, makes it too easy for them to say, "Hey, I want a lot of money," and the team they're with now, like with the Royals, say, "We can't afford that." And the player's like, "Well, then screw you and everything you've done for me. I'm gonna go somewhere else where they're willing to pay me." Because at that point, it's not about the sport, it's about the money.
Yeah.
It's not about the passion and love for the game anymore. It's not about the fan base they've helped build and the reputation they've built. It's about them getting a little bit more money. And that's my biggest problem with it. It's a great move for the organizations to go out and offer these guys ridiculous amounts of money because it makes them successful.
Yeah, I mean, if it's within the rules, then yeah.
It's within the rules. And even if it's a high salary cap, but you got to do something. Because what was it, 5 years ago?
See,
what's the guy's name for the Yankees? Jeter and the other one.
A-Rod.
A-Rod. Those two alone were making more money with the Yankees than the entire Royals team combined.
Yeah,
It's like 5 or 6 years ago.
because the lower market
That's
team,
ridiculous.
Your Kansas City Royals,
But
the
you put a
Rays,
salary cap.
the Oakland Athletics.
You put a salary cap, and that changes a little bit. You can't.
But the
you
Royals-
can't
but
have that.
there's the way. See, not having a salary cap in the MLB. This is my ultimate point. Is that it allows for an evenness across a span of multiple years. The Royals were they were for 20 years one of the worst sports franchises
Statistically, yes.
in North America. And they went out and went to back-to-back World Series because they waited, they drafted right, and they developed their players right.
And they had to do it the hard way, while other teams are opening.
The Chicago Cubs do the same thing, and they have all the resources that they
That's
want.
true.
But
Besides,
they drafted
some
Chris
trades
Bryant
for
and all these guys.
pitchers
Yeah.
and
No,
Zobrist
it
coming
happens.
in.
It
And that's how it
happens.
happened.
No, I'm not saying
But
it's
yeah,
impossible
but like
for
your
teams.
Yankees and your
to-
Red Sox just trade up every year.
I'm not saying it's impossible for teams to not sit there and build a team the right way and develop guys and create a team by making good moves. When other teams can go and just open their checkbooks and sign stars.
It's
Like
annoying,
nothing.
but I think it's a good thing ultimately for the game. It allows for a certain level of evenness.
No.
The Washington Nationals are not good because they gave Max Scherzer $200 million. They're good because they sucked forever, and they got Bryce Harper and Ryan Zimmerman and all those kind of guys. Anthony Rendon, those guys. So,
But the same thing happens in other sports too. It's not just an MLB thing where
yeah, but it allows for more turnover. The 76ers have been bad for a really long time because they've gotten screwed by not having the superstar player.
they screw up their draft picks a lot. They've had multiple top 5 picks, and they've not been the best one they've had so far has been Joel Embiid for 35 games before he got hurt for the entire year
And
again.
all those other guys they're trying to trade at this
They
point.
are
traded
not-
Noel.
They are not
Yeah,
building a
tried to
team
trade
the
them
right way.
before.
But you can't. It is extremely rare to find something in the NBA like the Warriors, where they've got all those star players, but they're all willing to take pay cuts to be on a team together.
It's a
They're
lot.
not asking for more money and then leaving the Warriors because they're not getting enough. They're taking less money to stay there. They've got loyalty to there. They want to win there. They want to play together in Golden State
Yeah.
and do well.
We'll see
but
how
that's
long
that's
that
the
LeBron
thing.
James
you got to
took
capitalize
a
on your
lot less
opportunities.
money than he could take somewhere else
Yeah.
to stay in Cleveland.
But you
to go
got to
back.
capitalize
He's,
on your
he's making that
opportunities.
money elsewhere.
That's not the. I know he's making it other places because he's LeBron James. He's the greatest player to ever live.
Yeah, purely salary though. But yeah,
Better than Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But
I
the
just
MLB,
think
it
the
truly
lack
does
of,
allow, if you draft right and you develop your guys right, it allows for everybody, no matter what your financial.
and it,
For a few
it-
years. It lasts
For a
few
few
years.
years.
few
The
years.
Milwaukee Brewers were
But
good.
the
They're the
second-
smallest market.
But
in
the second
American
it
pro sports.
allows you to do it right, get those players, develop them, be good, go to 2 World Series, and then they're gone for somewhere
Yeah, I
that
mean,
will pay
all,
them
all
more.
the small markets can afford to keep one guy. You know,
They will
the
stay
Rays have
there
Longoria,
until-
the Brewers have Braun.
They will stay
Yeah.
there until they see a opportunity to leave, get paid more money.
Yeah.
As soon as the Royals are not as
No,
good,
you're right. You're
they're
right.
gone. And
You're
that's
right.
my problem
But
with it.
my
because,
point-
because Eric Hosmer spends all his time in Kansas City developing, getting good. Everybody idolizes this man. And the second they have a down year, he's going to be gone somewhere that makes more money. When you spend your
No, it's not
when-
because of a
when-
down
down
year.
year
It's because
or
of
not,
money.
yeah.
Well, that's even worse.
But no, I totally agree with your point. But my point is that it makes the league more fun. It keeps fan bases energized.
Say that to the Oakland A's.
The Oakland A's were good a few years ago.
Because
They look like they were on their way to a World Series.
Moneyball.
How
Like,
are
yeah.
how
But
are
they were on their way to a World Series until this team came in, the Kansas City Royals, and completely ended those hopes. But they were on their way. They got John Lester at the trade deadline. They were they were the best team in the first
they had
half.
How
John
does it keep a fan-
Donaldson that year.
How is a fan base going to be energized when they lose their entire franchise for dollar signs?
Like after
And
that
then
year.
just, they're terrible.
I'm
again.
saying you don't have to wait for the most part. The Royals were an outlier. There's all these, the Mariners haven't been in a long time. But, like, you have a much better opportunity to get there without staying bad forever. The 76ers have just been crap for a long time. Because they haven't had the superstar. You shouldn't have to.
Since
You
Iguodala
shouldn't
left.
have to have a superstar to be even in the playoffs.
It's a different sport.
Well, and
it's a different sport.
it's a different sport.
That's something you have to
ultimately.
look at. In the NBA, you do need a superstar, but that's because it's baseball and basketball is very different sport as far as raw athleticism is not going to do as much for you in baseball as it is
one
in
guy is
basketball.
not going to win you the game in baseball.
Put
Baseball's a team sport.
LeBron James in the MLB, and he's like, how big and strong and quick he isn't going to do a whole ton if he does not have the ability to sit there and hit the ball or track a baseball and get under it. It's a different sport.
Yeah.
Takes totally different skills. That raw power is not going to make him a star in the MLB.
Maybe
If he was able to fine tune it and
he could be a
Yeah,
stud.
who knows?
have
He's
a good,
LeBron
have
James,
a good
so.
baseball IQ and be able to perform that well, but I can hit a jump shot, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna be able to go out and hit home runs immediately. It's different. It's just what you're good
Yeah,
at.
it is.
That was a
big conversation. That's
That got heated for a
controversial
bit.
stuff,
That
man, we're
was-
talking about. The salary cap is a big deal. 3 leagues have it, 1 doesn't. Let us know what
next
you think.
up.
Send
college
us
salary
in
caps.
some tweets about what you
College.
think. It's a big deal.
Yeah, let us know if you agree or disagree. I think that's gonna do it for episode 3. The school year is ending for us. We're about to go different ways for the summer.
We're
so
broadcasting from Stop Day right now.
stop day right now
If you're a
on
student,
KU's
happy
campus.
Stop Day.
We will be
We'll keep
less
it up.
often over the summer. There's not going to be a whole ton to talk about. We'll probably cover more Royals, NBA Finals / draft when that comes up. News if it's there. If not,
Keep it tuned in for something to do over the summer. But once football gets rolling, we're going to be back, and we're
we'll
going
be
to have a lot of
doing
lot of
this
stuff
Back
to
and
talk
better
about.
than ever.
probably at least 2 a week. Then I guess that's going to do it. KU View Podcast episode 3.
It's done. 3 episodes in.
3 episodes in. I'm
Yeah,
glad
so
we
far.
waited until the very end of the school year to start this, so there's
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot to talk about. That was sarcastic. I'm Cameron.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm Aiden.
Rock Chalk.
Go Chiefs. Good job.
Spay and neuter your pets.
There you
All
go.
right, Bob Barker. Kentucky still sucks.
So does Missouri. Don't
Missouri
forget
still sucks.
For different reasons.
K-State still should not have Bruce Weber for basketball coach.
that. Rock Chalk.
Rock Chalk. See you guys later.
This has been the KU View Podcast.